What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sith Council. Happy Wednesday to you. A lot of news going on. We had the Jedi Survivor, that trailer drop. We haven't really talked about that just yet. But we also have the big news that Andor, man, it was nominated for Critics' Choice Awards, but it was also a big nomination for Diego Luna for the Golden Globes. We'll talk about that as well. We got some news, or at least a comment by Shawn Levy on his new movie. And, a few speculations and things as we get closer and closer. And there's some news of Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins has talked about there was speculation of why she left Rogue Squadron, but she tries to clarify that, and we'll talk about that and think if we ever going to see that movie at all. So we'll talk about that because Mike is a massive Patty Jenkins fan, so we'll talk about him and get his thoughts on that. Steph is here. We'll talk about some other things that we're going to talk about, I think, on the show today. We'll take some questions from you guys. I had posted on the Facebook page just a couple things you wanted to talk about and see what we could come up with. But I think there's some things that we'll be able to really get into here today. But before we do that, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. patreon.com/thebigthingshow. Head on over there. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. We got exclusive Brett and Kate episodes. We got exclusive SEN Live episodes. We have watch-alongs. We have the trivia contest. We got a bunch of stuff over there. We hope that you guys will join us on that page. If you haven't already gotten yourself some merch, oh man, merchandising. Make sure you go and get yourself one of the shirts. Now, it depends on what the shirt is. Do you like Sith Council? Are you a Sith Council fan? What are you exactly? So we got to know. We got to let you know. Please let us know. Please let us know. Please let us know. All right, let's get into it, everybody. This is the Sith Council show, and I got something special for you. Check this out.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
It is the Sith Council show, and that, by the way, that comes from Wicked Art, who put that together, and man, what an intro it is, and Steph roughing up Mike, as it probably would happen. And speaking of Steph, there she is. Steph Sabraw is here, Darth Sabraw, and Mr. Kalinowski.
I let Steph rough me up.
You did.
Come on,
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, it's the big thing back there. All right, that's fine.
What's wrong with that?
Watch this. You want to see? What do you think's wrong with it, Mike?
What I said?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you tell me. Like, I thought
We're crushing it today, by the way.
Yeah,
she's roughed me up. Let her rough me up.
Well, okay.
We're buds.
Here's something really exciting.
What's that?
I wore a hat today, and in the car on the way here, I was like, I'm going to be because you two usually wear hats, but I'm like,
you know what?
If we're all in hats, wow.
All in hats. Everybody's in hats.
I can't stand combing my hair. I hate it. I hate combing my hair.
You, barely have hair.
Oh.
No, you just have.
Wow.
Taking shots.
Look at you.
What?
Look at me. Look at you. What you
Look
got?
at me, look at you.
Oh, I know you always like these stories. So
Yeah.
I got the little gangster and she's brushing her teeth. So I'm brushing her teeth and I go like this and she goes and I hold her chin. She goes.
Does she take the brush and brush her own
She
teeth?
lets me brush her
Okay.
teeth. And then I go. She goes. It's hilarious. she's absolutely a full-on gangster.
Full on.
All right, we got stuff to talk about, everybody, and we're going to go to we're going to go to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And let's get into this first story. This is coming from Star Wars Newsnet and our buddy Miguel Fernandez. Nominations for the TV categories in the Critics' Choice Awards have been announced, and Star Wars has two reasons to celebrate. The recently wrapped first season of Andor has been nominated as one of the best drama series of the year, and its lead actor, Diego Luna, has landed a Best Actor nomination as well. The season as a whole will be competing against other TV titans of the year: Bad Sisters, Apple TV; Better Call Saul, AMC; The Crown, Netflix; Euphoria, HBO; The Good Fight, Paramount Plus; House of the Dragon, HBO Max, or HBO, whatever; Severance, Apple TV; and Yellowstone, Paramount. Meanwhile, Diego Luna will go up against Jeff Bridges from The Old Man, which is so good; Sterling K. Brown, This Is Us; Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul; Adam Scott from Severance; and Anthony Starr from The Boys. That's a solid list.
Man,
Yeah.
I was thinking of that.
Solid
I'm like, who's he got his chances against?
It's a solid list.
Jeff Bridges right at the top, and then you go from there. I'm like, well, geez,
Yeah, it's tough. This is the first of probably many awards to mention Andor among the best of the year picks now that the 2022 award season is underway. While the main TV awards gala, the Emmys, will not happen until next September, industry guilds tend to announce their favorite shows and movies through the end of the calendar year at the beginning of the next one. Andor could be a solid candidate for the nominations by the Writers Guild of America, the Screen Actors Guild, and perhaps even the Directors Guild, all announced on January 11th. The Critics' Choice Awards ceremony will take place on Sunday, January 15th, will be aired on the CW. A second and final season of the series is now in production in the UK and aiming for a late summer, early fall 2024 release. Okay, let me just go into one more. We'll go into the Golden Globes thing, too. We'll just stay here in a second. Star Wars Andor Soundtrack Volume 3 now available. Okay, that's cool. All right, that's good. So also, I mean, he was also nominated for the Golden Globes. That came out, so we can talk about that. This is big news in general for this show, right? So he's got stiff competition. Now, I don't know if both the show and Diego Luna will win, because I do think that Star Wars is going to hurt it. But I do think it's being recognized, and I think there's a lot to break down here on that. Yeah. Because, one, it acknowledges what we've all been saying, how great this writing is, how great the show was. Yeah. And that when we talked about it up top, we're like, this show is so good. I'm telling you, you could see how this could be a award-nominated show. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'd said that one comment a couple weeks ago where, it might be a dig, but I said this show is Star Wars has no right being this good.
Yeah.
And I think this show, I mean, have any other shows ever been nominated? I don't think they have.
No,
the first
shows.
time.
I don't even think there's been. What was the last thing?
Wasn't Mando nominated?
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think it was.
I don't believe so. Not for best show.
And then best actor. Neither. No one's been for best
chance.
actor.
No.
And to be in that category with those top tier actors, and then all bringing their A game, and that's something, man. That's to be recognized.
Yeah.
I think it's a long shot to win.
Yeah, especially when you hear all that competition.
Yeah.
Like especially after watching Severance, Jeff Bridges was so good in that show.
Yeah, I was watching that. I didn't be on that show.
That's pretty good.
I should win.
It's pretty good. I don't know, and there's so many different. I mean, was Odenkirk? He was nominated.
I'd say
as well?
I'm looking at I see that.
Season.
I've seen that. It's his last season.
I think it's going to be Bridges.
I think Anthony Starr and Diego are the black sheep, the dark horses.
Yeah.
I think
Sterling's already won one.
Sterling's one.
Yes.
I think it's Bridges or Odenkirk, with Adam Scott pulling because that show gets a lot of the old man. I think was probably the least well known of all those shows out there.
It was funny because I'm part of Critics' Choice Awards.
Okay.
And once that comes up to vote on it, I love Andor and I love Diego Luna in it. It's a hard choice for me, that list. That's a hard choice.
It's the old man and Andor for me.
I think
between the two of those, I would nominate for
Old
it.
Man and Andor.
The old man and Andor. Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't know. He's really good in that, but Anthony Starr is so good. He's so good as
I'm so
Homelander.
far behind on the boys.
Oh, dude, he's so. I finished. I'm 3, and he's so good on that show. And again, I can't. I love Odenkirk. I haven't watched the show, and everyone tells me I need to watch that show because I love Breaking Bad so much.
I haven't watched either. I know.
Oh man. So, but either way, the bigger picture here is, even if we don't think if Andor is going to win, you right? You find something in there?
No. I'm looking for gold.
The concern on your face. All right? Find something?
Yeah, he was really looking for... Well, I'm telling your fortune right now.
Good. Okay, how am I doing?
Very auspicious.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, one day your daughter will end up becoming the leader of your family.
Which is probably true. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that like an 8-ball? You're looking for it to come to the surface?
Yeah.
The ice
Well, you want to shake it up. Every sip matters. And it wasn't a good proportion of cream to coffee. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
You got to have a good proportion of cream.
Thank you.
Well, all right, listen to me. We're talking about this in general. This how much bigger this is than just the nominations.
Yeah,
which
big.
We probably don't think. I would be so pleased if Andor won both one award somewhere, whether it was Golden Globes, whether it was Critics' Choice, whether it was SAG, whether it was one win would be great. If it won nothing, just as good, because this shows, and I hope Lucasfilm goes, maybe we should listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of the best years of television, and I think everyone thinks that. Like,
yeah, it's been great.
Insane.
Yeah.
So
good.
For them to be nominated in this year is so special. It's incredible. And because it's like, it was my favorite show of the year, and you have to think about like how good it was to be like that when there's House of Dragon, when I know Rings of Power a lot of people didn't like, but I did. There's so much out.
And the idea that, remember, we were all like, yeah, Andor's coming out, but Obi-Wan. Oh
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
can't wait till Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is a fart someone did in a car somewhere, and you remember. Oh yeah, I remember that.
also-
I remember that.
In that list,
No
no
offense.
Game of Thrones and no Lord of Rings of Power. Interesting.
No.
Rings of
Lord,
Power
what was the
didn't get a
first one?
Single one.
The Rings
House
of
of
Power
Dragon
and House
did.
of Dragon.
House of
but I'm
Dragon
saying
did.
in that list right there with the best actor or
Did they get
Well,
best?
show.
so
they got a Best Actress.
Emma Darcy got nominated.
The Galadriel.
No, Emma Darcy is Rhaenyra from House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Older version.
I don't watch that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, older version.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but
Prosecco, Spagliato. You
Yeah.
saw that video. I can't.
But either way, you're right though. Television in general was really special this year, and the fact that they got in there, but it was what everyone is talking about with how great the writing was, and this is why I hope, and I don't want to see every Star Wars show be so I want the mythology and the mythos and the magic and the Jedi and the Sith, and I want that in parts. I know you hate all of that.
Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. Here we go.
But what I'm saying is that I don't need every show to be like Andor, but I hope that they do understand now that clearly if you do it, you can benefit from it, and you can get people going, oh, look, I can take Star Wars seriously here. It's like it's not just monsters and for kids. You can do it in a way that people go, well, look at that. Look what they did there.
I know the general Star Wars fans, and probably everyone that watches this show doesn't need that, but it gives a cachet to it where it's like you're being considered with these top tier shows. It elevates your material,
Yes.
and as everything, it elevates your entire brand.
Yes.
So
It justifies television too. It justifies you doing your television shows that we've always talked about what you could do with Star Wars on a television level. And let's just bring up Rogue One stuff, right? Which we all love.
yeah,
Andor is not the standout of Rogue One. He's the reason why you think of Andor at all is because it's Diego Luna. And he's good and stuff, but he's not developed. I understand he's this guy, he's kind of got an edge and he's helping out her, but it's really her story overall, and he's there. But from doing these episodes, this character is a fantastic, layered, and he's a film actor primarily who has really made a significant impact now on television.
Definitely. I feel like it's gonna be like Pedro Pascal, where like everyone wants him in everything.
Yes.
He's gonna have a Last of Us show coming up soon, I'm sure of it. But it's so sick. Like, I think a lot of people, most people who watch foreign films know of Diego Luna.
Yes,
But
Ito Mama Tambien was the first time I ever saw.
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
That movie is so good, but most people don't watch it. And then
Yeah.
now, and it's so true about the character. And he probably has maybe like the smallest amount of dialogue. He barely talks in that movie.
You understand what he's about, but he doesn't make like such an impact. But he is so much impact, and you see exactly who he is. And by the time you get to him in Rogue One, you're going to go, oh, I get it. I get it even more so now. And I think that I'm like holding back on watching Rogue One again because I want to treat it like this series finale.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to see it once, and I'll probably want to watching it beforehand. But like I've seen it so many times anyway. But I really want to watch it like right after season 2 ends of
That's
Andor.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, Mike. I mean, I don't know. I just think that. Do you think that this is gonna make Lucasfilm go, hey, maybe let's approach this a little bit differently now, or no, just gonna keep on as they were?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the ships are already moving.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the ships are out at sea with the production and pre-production, so you can't change mid-course.
No, it's not
stuff-
changing mid-course, but
not
it's
mid-course.
it's notes. It's
Right.
notes inside of the
Oh,
writing.
okay, let's say this. We've seen Acolyte set photos and stuff right now. We've seen some stuff.
Yeah,
and it looks
right,
like
right.
it's skewing darker. And that's such a generic bad word to use. I hate to say that. That's so immature.
Yeah.
But it is...
I know what you mean. They're taking it more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
I
anything,
hope.
the Acolyte would seem to gravitate to that.
Well, so we're gonna have this is what if you look at it at Star Wars in general as far as television, where we're going with it at the moment for the releases, right? You've got, and not including movies, because we'll probably see those and we'll all be dead by the time the movies come out. But the TV shows themselves, the first show is Mandalorian. We all know how great season 3 looks. It looks so good. They've got a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
They could not do anything to mess up 3, I don't think.
Well, I mean, they could.
Well,
but the chances are against it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got the same people in charge, the same crew and everything.
And they know the story they're telling.
Yeah, they're going strong.
They know the story that they're telling. And
I can't think of something that's going to go, whoa, they dropped a bomb on that one. That sucked.
And what seems to be going on with the Filoni-Favreau universe, if you will, is they seem to have a cohesive story that they're telling right now because it looks like that is going to tie into Ahsoka, which is going to tie into Skeleton Crew, which the rumor is that it's going to be this big, massive event that I've been dreaming about for years with the Thrawn thing. So that whole thing seems to be in a good spot.
Yeah.
And the way that it's filmed already, there's a couple moments, the Amy Sedaris stuff, and I mean, you get over it. You know, it's like I wind up, like I like watching her when she shows up. I've like at first I couldn't stand her, but now I actually, and not, I love Amy Sedaris. I just thought she was out of place, but now she's kind of blended into it for me.
Yeah.
Those there will be those moments in Mandalorian. There always will be. And then after that is Ahsoka. And Ahsoka is essentially the next season of Rebels. Filoni has a lock on that. He knows how to tell those stories. So I think we're in good shape. Then you get Skeleton Crew, same thing, part of that. So I think we're in John Watts. After you look at what the old man and everything else too, hearing what he told us about what he's going to go into, and then Acolyte. So they're not set to fart this thing up, you know, like the way that they did with a couple of the other shows. I think this is what people don't understand, and I'll start going off my diatribe in a second. But like this is what people don't understand. That when you have Mandalorian that pops so big, and everyone's like, "Oh, Mandalorian's great. Here's the next show," and they set up Boba Fett, and it's like, you're like, this is what TV's gonna be like. And then Obi-Wan, oh, we gotta get Obi-Wan. You're like, you're like, oh no, is this what TV? They only have Mandalorian, and then Andor goes, hey, watch this, and now you're 2 for 4. Now, as far as series go, now you're 2 for 4, and you okay. Now if they go 3 for 5, 4 for 6. 5 for 7, whatever it is, and then you're like, wait a minute, okay, now I'm back on track, and they have an idea. But Steph, that was a lot. So what do you think?
No, I agree. I feel like this is when we were talking about previews of shows coming out next year. It's a massive year for Star Wars because it has some legacy characters, but there's a lot of new things, which I feel like more than in the past because some of their newer shows other than Mandalorian, but Boba and Obi-Wan were both legacy characters. So even though we got 3 new shows this year,
it was
2 legacy.
Boba Fett. Yeah, right. Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, and Andor. Absolutely,
so we got 2 legacy. The best show was newish character.
Yeah,
like we didn't
100%.
know much about him. Yeah. So I'm excited for the fact that next year that's a huge year for them to be like, this is more original content really than we've dove in before.
Well, Mando is still, I mean, at this point established.
Yeah.
Ahsoka is established.
Yeah.
And Skeleton Crew is the newest one. Now, the rumor on Skeleton Crew, by the way, and I think it came from making Star Wars, but I think that the rumor for that show is that, and that's why it seems to play into this larger event. The rumor, Mike, is that it takes place in the outer regions, which we've always heard about, because that's at the end of Rebels. So like Thrawn and Ezra are sent out into like these outer regions, and they've got to go find them, right? But apparently, Skeleton Crew takes place in like these outer regions and places that we've never seen before. So they kind of get like because we heard that these kids get lost somewhere. Apparently, they get lost in the outer regions, which would tie it all together. So that plays pretty well and creates new things. And even though we're in a time period as far as after Jedi, it's still a place we've never been before. So I know you've been kind of hoping for that kind of stuff for a while.
Yeah. I mean, if there's no stormtroopers and stuff like that, again, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think the world is so vast. It's so massive in Star Wars. And we've always been kind of in this little bubble. I mean, even Andor, I mean, there were stormtroopers in it every now and then, but it carved out its own path, and it clearly worked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we did that anticipated list for all the shows.
Yeah, that's right.
And you guys both had Mandalorian, I think, is number 1.
I think
right?
so. Yeah.
It's my number 2, and I'm still can't wait. But the Acolyte was my number 1.
Ahsoka was my 1.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had Mandalorian. You had Ahsoka, and I had Mandalorian.
Acolyte.
Right. my brain. I haven't eaten. So, but what I will say is this: the Acolyte. After seeing the pictures, I keep the pick at number 1.
Yeah.
Because it is the thing that I've been looking for, and even though it's the end of the High Republic, it had an old Republic feel to it, like the stuff with the Wookiees and the guy hiding behind the tree, and this is for leaked photos if you guys haven't seen it, but it's just like certain things that came out, and I'm like, okay. And if Leslie Headland hits this tone that I think she's going to hit from, you look at what she's done with Russian Doll and everything too, I'm like, this really could be a show that I'm going, oh man, I love the Andor, but this is now you're singing my songs.
Yeah, because it's going to get Jedi, Sith, lightsabers, all that stuff.
And the admission, I guess, from who was it? It was from Daphne Keane, who said this is a Sith story and how they infiltrate. I mean, I've been waiting for that for forever. So, like, if they do this right, I mean, you're singing, you're singing my song.
I loved her in Logan, but when she was cast, I'm like, huh. But she's at that age where she's growing so rapidly, and to see those pictures of her is like, oh, a completely different person now. It was only 5 years ago, so she's a completely different person.
Were the pictures revealed of her?
There was one of her.
What was she?
Her hair was.
Is she Jedi? Is she Sith?
She's in robes. You can't tell with the robes and her hair. I couldn't tell if it was
and she could be
prosthetic.
infiltrating as a Jedi.
I couldn't tell
so
if it was a prosthetic or if it was hair pulled into like these kind of rows on her head.
Oh man, I'm so excited
but
for that show.
I try not to look at that stuff, but it popped up on Twitter, and I was
You're
like,
looking for the picture?
I might as well look at it now.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, I know that Mike needs something like this. It's time to shave your balls, everybody. If you didn't already know, it is time. That time of year. And sing along with me, Steph. 'Tis the season for clean balls. Fa la 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 la. Thank you.
Clean his big balls now.
Nice. There you go.
Na, 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 na.
Like,
make sure you lift up the scrote. Da, 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 da,
guys
da.
are like Sopranos. All right, so our friends at Manscaped are helping you clear your driveway for safe travels this holiday season. You got stocking stuffers, white elephants. Manscaped products are at the top of everybody's wish list. You got to get some of those crop mops for your pops or the body buffer for the holiday lover. Win this year's white elephant gift and help all the men in your life go from eggnog to nice hog this December and save 20% off and free shipping by manscaped.com/bigthing. Get that Platinum Package 4.0. It's really good. What better holiday gift than giving the gift of good hygiene and a few laughs? We've been with Manscaped forever, and there's a reason why, because they have really great products, and we swear by them. Everybody who has one of them loves them. You got to use them, and it's not just for the ball bags. I'll tell you what, if you have the nasty nose hairs, give somebody the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. The ear hair trimmer, they're amazing. The Shears 2.0, it's the full kit. It's got the nail care with scissors, clippers, tweezers, and a file for the traveling man. Steph, isn't this like the best gift for somebody, especially if they're going on dates and stuff?
Yes, you should definitely give this gift because it's a gift that gives to others, too.
It really does. Manscaped is here to make holiday shopping a blast by giving products they'll love and make laugh. My favorite is absolutely it's the Lawnmower 4.0. It's the electric razor. It's got the advanced skin-safe technology. It's a life changer. So if you want to save 20% off and free shipping, go to manscaped.com/bigthing. 20% off and free shipping. Go to manscaped.com/bigthing. It's Manscaped. Perfect gift. That will be the holidays' biggest gift. And you help out the show, and you help us out, and you help yourself out, and you get some great gifts if you go to use that code with Manscaped. Go in the description, use that iCard that I posted there, and please let us know once you get the gift. Okay, so there's a few other things, I think, but before we get to some of the questions, obviously Andor is the big one, and so let's talk about Shawn Levy.
Let's talk about it.
Well, we really like Shawn Levy. Shawn Levy's been doing some great stuff, and there was that rumor that he was doing a show, and then he confirmed the rumor, and he said, absolutely, we'll be doing a movie, and here's basically a little bit about what my movie's all about. So Shawn Levy was interviewed, and he talks about his new particular Star Wars movie, and I always get nervous when they start talking about it because I feel like we're going to be back in time and saying, hey, remember when Shawn Levy said what his movie's going to be about?
Uh-oh.
And now he's doing 5 other different movies and he's not even doing Star Wars. Shawn Levy, Stranger Things, free guy. He was reported and he was confirmed to be directing an upcoming Star Wars film earlier this year. While the project is still in the very early stages, the director recently hinted that he wants to make a visual spectacle that is joyful and filled with heart. It's a good answer. This happened during a recent interview with the Sci-Fi Wire, where Levy said the following when asked about his upcoming film. We're still in early development, but my goal is to make a Star Wars movie that is like a lot of my movies, which is visually spectacle and a healthy dose of wish fulfillment, levity, and big heart. He also shared a message of excitement and gratitude over having the opportunity to direct films for 2 of the biggest film franchises today, as he looked back at his early days as director in 2002's Big Fat Liar. If you would have told me that when I was making Big Fat Liar that I would eventually be making Deadpool and Star Wars, I would have said, are you kidding me? That's a fantasy, not a goal. So the fact that I'm getting to paint on these big, rich canvases, it's thrilling to me. I don't ever, for a day, take it for granted or feel complacent about it. Let's see. Levy is currently deep into production of Deadpool 3, which he will be shooting next May. And this is all important to note, by the way, ahead of its November 2024 release date. He's expected to commit to Star Wars after he's completed work on that film. Okay, so we're looking at his film 2026, I would guess at that point. We'll do the math in a second. No plot details are known at this point, but Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy said earlier this year they're intending to set all upcoming Star Wars movies in the post-Rise of Skywalker era. According to reports, that's the timeline that Lindelof and Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy will explore their upcoming film. Levy's quote is also relevant to the current news cycle as it comes out shortly after Patty Jenkins confirmed on social media that she signed a new deal with Lucasfilm to return to Rogue Squadron and affirmed that that movie is currently in active development. We still don't know who is writing the film for Levy, or whether or not it's related to a previously announced project like Kevin Feige's Star Wars film. More details might surface in the next few months, and announcements might be placed in April when Star Wars Celebration comes around. Lucasfilm is rumored to have a plan in the place for the next 5 years of Star Wars films. Okay, so we got a lot. We got a lot in there. Let's talk about this in general, right? So the first part is 2024. He's done with is when Deadpool 3 comes out. So, and they said he's not going to start working, really putting this into place until after that. So let's say, what did they say? February 2024 is when it comes out? Is that what they said?
Yeah.
So let's say it takes 2 years for that movie. So we're looking at 2026, maybe 2027.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part
Feasibly,
one.
yeah.
Right. So what could be happening, if you want, let's go optimistic first. They could be talking to Lindelof, saying, hey, our movie's going to be set here. We're trying to get our movie out by like 2025. And then your movie would come out in like 2026, 2027, and we could still, it doesn't have to be a sequel, but it could be related inside of the same timeline that we're trying to place everything. And then whether it's Patty Jenkins' movie or Feige's movie or whatever can be the following movie the next year or whatever, and they can start to set a plan in place. We're going the optimistic route. And then it seems like everything's in this time period, which I will say, if that is the case, I like this because of what you said before. There's no expectations. You can have legacy characters show up, whether it's Rey or Poe or anybody else. And remember, Daisy Ridley showed up. I don't know if we talked about this. Daisy Ridley showed up to Lucasfilm recently. Did you guys see this?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
So she showed up to Lucasfilm for a lunch or whatever. She posted, and people started talking about what the hell does it mean. Some people thought maybe a series. Some people thought it was a Lindelof film. It could be any of these movies. It could be this Shawn Levy thing. It could be any of these movies. And it doesn't mean that it's going to focus on Rey. It means that she could show up in some of these movies the way some of these other characters do. So this is all the optimistic part. We'll talk about the pessimistic stuff in a second. But Steph, let me start with you. You hear all this news. What do you take away from it?
That things are moving along in the movie direction. I feel like they're trying to get their ducks aligned with multiple directors at once in the same range. Mm-hmm. And like we thought it's going to be a few years, but that's okay because there's so many shows coming out. But I like it. Like it feels like there's
a plan, you
think?
think?
Yeah, like it feels like there's a plan really forming and they're getting their people.
What do you think, Mike? You hear all this stuff. What do you take away from it?
The takeaway was the Kathleen Kennedy comment about everything's going to take place post Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
is that the first we're hearing of that?
I apparently she said it last week. I don't remember hearing that, but makes sense from all of the reports you're getting so far.
Yeah,
because they're playing the TV. The TV is hitting every era.
I get it. And I'm sure they probably look at it as like, well, Solo didn't do well for us because that was back in the past. I'm like, but then that eliminates any kind of
Old Republic
stuff.
So then maybe they go TV wise with it.
Yeah, you know. But again, it's hard because I'm just like, there's no, I don't need a plan. I just want good movies, and it just seems like the movies are. But that was like a Chapek thing, I think, too, and now Eisenberg, Iger's back, and maybe like, hey, we gotta get going here. We got we're leaving money on the table here.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think that if you, like Steph said, if you put this first movie out, if it's the Lindelof movie, and that first movie comes out in 2024, 2025. By that time, the Levy movie, the Feige movie, all these other movies could play into it. And then you start popping in movies at least one year apart of each other or 2 years apart of each other, which is fine. Then they have a plan. The question is, will Kennedy even be there at that point?
Let me ask you guys this, because I just thought of this. So we're announcing, Andor TV show and Skeleton Crew TV show, but like, what would be? Do you think they're looking like, hey man, we're going big, the TV film worldwide. we got to have a thing that just like is a punch. Like we're going gangbusters on our first film back because it's always been a Skywalker. Right. Even Solo was part of Skywalker. The Solo Skywalker attached. Rogue One was kind of the weird outlier, but it's how the Death Star plans came. So you knew that. So this one, if they're just throwing out, this is the random group of people in the far side of the galaxy done a space adventure. It's just like
Ewok sequel.
It's like, but even then, Ewok sequel tied to the history of the Ewoks, the Return of the Jedi. It's interesting because that's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Do you think that's before there's like coming to finally Star Wars back in the big screens by Taika Waititi? So that had that punch to it. That's kind of gone away a little bit because of what's happened with Love and Thunder and stuff. So maybe that's where all the drums are. Like, we don't have that punch that's going to throw it out there, like because we don't have a Skywalker in there. And should we bring Rey in? Is it Rey's new adventure? So it's like, I think maybe, because TV's kind of like a testing ground. Like, Mando did great. Boba, all right, Andor, let's throw it on TV, see what the test is like. We're not going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars on Andor if it doesn't do well. So maybe that's where this whole, like, we don't know, we bringing in Lindelof, because his name's a big name. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what would get me excited to see Star Wars. Like, for me, it's Rogue Squadron.
Well, that
to me would be like, if that's hitting a theater, I'm like, that's got me going.
I was there with Rogue Squadron, but I'm not anymore because I don't, nothing against Patty Jenkins, but I just don't. I think that it goes back to when they were signing that deal. They were like, hey, we just need some fun movies to have a movie, and that's a great pitch, Patty, so why don't you do that? As opposed to very similar to what's going on with DC, if they do indeed have a plan and then they just throw that in there because they're like, oh, that if it fits into the plan, then sure.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of them saying, hey, this is outside of this movie, Rise of Skywalker. It takes place 10 years later, and there's nothing we're held to. We can create outside of it the same way you can create if you go back 100 years, the way that they're going to do an Acolyte, or 1,000, whatever it is. I forget how many years it is. 100. I think it's 100 years. Doesn't matter. Point is, they can create new stuff, and if they bring in some characters like Rey or whatever, too, you don't have to make it about her. You make it about new characters. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I think that's what I would want is in the future, because I think that makes more sense with the movies wise too. You want it will be 10 years since Force Awakens comes out if they come out with something in 2025. But I think that gives it enough time for the people like me who were in college when those were coming out to be like just still interested but waiting a long time, so you can have like a legacy character, kind of like how Luke was involved with the Young Jedi Academy, something like that with Rey. I think that would be cool. And then you have more room to play. But I agree with Mike. I do think that they're looking for that big punch, because right now we're satisfied with, I am good with TV. Like, I'm like, make a movie good.
Yeah,
don't.
But Disney's not satisfied.
Don't
with that.
I know. But I'm like, I'd rather y'all take it slow, find your plan, and don't put out BS.
Or is it the point where we're at that point where they can see it and go, you know what? We're not doing legacy characters. We are going to go back to 1977, create all new characters in Star Wars.
That's what I think it is.
This is going to be a new generations, with not having Han pop up or like The Force Awakens did to tie the generations. This is not starting over, but it's like what Lucas gave us in 77. This next film will give us in 2026. Like,
then set up new adventures.
New adventures with new characters.
But how do you not tie in at all?
That's the thing. But you've got a generation of fandoms that's going to be like, no, it needs to tie together.
No, but remember,
mildly,
I know.
History.
I'm just saying.
No one said in any of these reports, no one said this was going to be a trilogy. They just said that they might tie together. Well, but that's the thing, is that if you look at it on a Marvel side of things, right? Marvel doesn't just put the trilogies out. They wait to put their movie out, and then if the movie does well, then we'll do Iron Man 2. Then we'll do Iron Man 2. Then we'll do but it's got to all connect first. And if they do something along the lines, let's say they do, I don't know, some character named Seam Botley. And so Seam Botley is the first movie. So,
perfect.
Right. So Seam Botley has a movie, and you're like, whoa, Seam Botley started it all.
Yeah,
he started it all.
Botley.
He started it all, man. What a badass. But
right.
inside of the Seam Botley movie, some other thing was introduced, and then they get their movie next.
Yeah.
And then that movie, that's the Shawn Levy movie. And so then Lindelof goes, hey, but the Botley, they love him.
Seam Botley, they love him.
When are we going to? All right, so Seam Botley 2 is now coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but that's the point. It's like you
The
start
Botley trilogy. Yeah.
Hashtag seen Botley too.
yes, you get the Botley trilogy, but it's got to be earned. It's not announced. The same way they're like, oh, we're going to do a monster movie trilogy, and then the monster movie eats it. It's like, we don't know these characters yet.
It's such a commitment.
Yeah.
I don't. Where did that in movies come from? Like, it's got to be a trilogy.
Star
The
Wars,
original
man.
trilogy.
No. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Batman came out. They were like, we're making a Batman trilogy.
Yeah, Batman came out after Star Wars, guy.
I know that.
Is
You're missing the point.
Okay.
When did in filmdom did every studio got to go? It's got to be a trilogy.
Star Wars, Mike.
No, it's not. Because then why was Batman not a trilogy? Why would like?
Because some-
when did it really start?
Lord of the Rings, I think, too.
Yeah, probably
Thank
Lord
you.
of the
It was
Rings.
later. I mean, everyone's like, we got to make a trilogy.
Transformers.
Well, everybody
like-
tried to do. Back to the Future did it, man. Back to the Future did it in '89, and
That first one came out, but
85.
I'm saying when they announced the first film, they know this is going to be a trilogy.
right.
Back to the Future wasn't going to be a trilogy.
No. After they
okay.
shot 2 and 3. Yeah, right. And then after Lord of the Rings,
I think it was Lord of the Rings.
maybe because then they
Yeah.
said like,
Well,
well,
wow, we filmed it and it did so great.
Right, everybody-
That's what we do.
Those
Yeah.
movies
Thank
are
you.
still so good.
Oh my god, phenomenal movies.
So yeah, man, this is the films in general. It's going to be interesting, but as we mentioned beforehand, as I want to get into.
That pasta looked so good.
Well, yeah,
say pasta?
There was an ad
There's
for
an
pasta.
ad.
Oh Jesus.
But speaking of Patty Jenkins, this is a report
Here we
that came
go.
out, and I'm going to mention this tomorrow on the big thing also. But let's get to it here because it's relevant to the story that we just talked about. So this is from Dark Horizons. After being the subject of various reports lately and a lot of speculation, filmmaker Patty Jenkins has gone on the record to clear up reports about her involvement in both the third Wonder Woman film and the Star Wars spin-off feature Rogue Squadron. In a statement released on Twitter, she says she was going to exit Rogue Squadron over scheduling issues as she wanted to get work on Wonder Woman 3 done after several delays on that sequel. Lucasfilm then made a new deal with her, which is still in effect, and will see her return to the project after finishing Wonder Woman 3, she says. That project has been in active development ever since our new deal, and I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We never do until the development process is complete, but I look forward to its potential ahead. So that's the majority of the Star Wars news. The rest she gets into like DC and stuff. But so what's relevant about this is the Shawn Levy stuff also. Because Shawn Levy said, this is what I want my movie to be about.
Yeah.
But we're still in development. The same thing can happen to Shawn Levy tomorrow.
Sure.
That happened to Patty Jenkins. Like, whether it's scheduling.
What if Deadpool 3 goes longer and they start having problems?
What if they change their tune and they want to move it up closer, or they want to move
Star
it
Wars,
into
his Star Wars.
they
Sure.
want to move it somewhere else. He's like, I can't do that. I got something else to do. So the scheduling is always a possibility. Then there's the idea that has happened a million times over. Hey, Kathleen, I want to do this. No, we want you to do this. I'm out, which has happened 70 times so far. So that could happen as well. But with Patty Jenkins, I don't think Rogue Squadron is going to happen. Even the way that she said it, you got a new deal. That's great. That doesn't mean anything. She said, I don't even know if it's going to happen or not. Well, you don't think it's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. I just think that
Ship has sailed.
yes, and I also think that Top Gun Maverick kind of was like, how are you going to beat that as a pilot
Well, same could be said. Top Gun pretty much was episode 4.
That's why I'm not the creator. You got to get someone who can be like, no, I can make something better than that. But if I'm like Star Wars execs, it's not exactly what everyone's looking for right now to have their cup filled with that kind of story.
Yeah, Mike.
I think I will
Except for
forever.
Mike, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll forever be in the Patty Jenkins camp.
I like Patty Jenkins.
With her Wonder Woman and Rogue Squadron, to me, of all the filmmakers attached to these Star Wars projects, she had a direct relation to Star Wars and Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
With her father and the pilot. And I know she also invested that with Wonder Woman. And that's why that film, I think the first one is one of the greatest superhero films of all time. I don't know if the film happens. There's this weird thing that's happening right now. And I think the first of her stepping away from Rogue to do Wonder Woman 3 was absolutely true.
Yeah.
I think she's not going. I think Wonder Woman 3 happens without her. I think that's
Wonder Woman 3. I
I don't think she goes back to Wonder Woman. Her press release
don't
that
think
she
they're
recently
gonna do Wonder Woman 3.
right. I think
She's
Gal
not
is
doing
there.
Cleopatra either,
I
right?
think she's
her.
she's done with DC.
I think so too.
Her response was and then Gunn's response back was a very
Did Gunn respond
measured-
after she posted?
Yeah, just like
what did he say?
I've had nothing but professional experiences with
Patty,
you
great.
in our dealings.
Great.
Very much like shake hands and we're on our way.
We're good.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there
I'd
seems
love
to
to
be
be in
this
that
weird
realm.
now, but now between the Rogue Squadron and Wonder Woman, back to Rogue Squadron, there seems to be an air of, and then again the fallout from '84 on her, a cloud of something that the general public doesn't even know about.
She's
but in
dropped
our
out of 3
groups-
movies. So it's three genres:
And
Marvel,
Yeah.
Star Wars, and DC.
And you know, her last film is Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
You know, whether you loved it or not. Hopefully people see back because she did Monster. I mean, Monster's a phenomenal movie. And did first Wonder Woman. So it's like, you know,
she'll work. She'll be fine.
But, But it's just a weird.
Yeah.
And again, now with, I would have thought that Kathleen Kennedy and her would have seen a kinship. We're both women that have been under the gun of male, you know, whatever, and fought to be where we are. We got each other's backs.
Yeah, but it's also about the Bucks.
I know.
Yeah, and they got to see. They got to see what they're gonna do. But
And Steph, to your point, great point on the the Top Gun.
yeah, well,
It's you know, it is.
yeah, it is. So all right, let's move, before we move on to questions, because then we're gonna wrap it up. We got Athletic Greens, man. We're so excited about Athletic Greens. Steph is a big advocate for Athletic Greens. I am a big advocate, as well as everyone else who's on this show. Please, please, please get yourself some Athletic Greens. We've been with them for a bit. I started using them every day since. It's been months and months and months. And I wasn't a big vitamin person. You guys know that. I've told you that. But I wanted more energy. I wanted an optimized immune system. I didn't love taking pills and vitamins. And I wanted one supplement that actually tasted really good. And I found it in Athletic Greens. It's so good. It doesn't taste like a super healthy drink. It has like a mild tropical taste, which I love. One scoop. And you put it in a cup of water. You shake it up. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. It's amazing. I love it because it gives me so much energy. It just makes me feel good during the day. Supports better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. It really is just absolutely incredible. And it costs you less than $3 a day, and you invest in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes. It's just incredible. We love them. We're so glad that they're with us. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. One scoop and a cup of water every day, and that's it. There's no need for 3 million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Now, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing, athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We're so excited to be with them. We love them. We're excited that they continue to come back, and we hope that you guys are using them, because when you guys pick up one of the sponsors, it helps out the show, and there's a reason why I'm able to have on Steph and Mike and the crew that we have, and we're able to continue to do more, is because people are noticing the show and sponsors are noticing the show, and we're able to stay on the air, and we're able to do stuff because you guys are finding stuff that you like. That's the other thing. Make sure Athletic Greens, you want to try some, do it. Go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Get yourself some, and get somebody a gift for Christmas or for any of the holidays. All right, we're going to get some questions now. I posted some questions on my Facebook. I think I'm not going to be able to show all of them, but I'll read them out. Dominic Jasinski. Kristian, when do you think the Ahsoka trailer will be out? And will they finally reveal who's playing Thrawn? We haven't heard any news at all. Well, we've heard news on who's playing Thrawn. It was Rosario Dawson, who was the unofficial leaker by accident all the time. She pretty much put that Lars Mikkelsen, who voiced Thrawn in Rebels, is going to play him. And then there's rumors that he's been walking around the set as Thrawn as well. So I think that he will be revealed in the next trailer. But the question, Steph, is when do you think we're going to get a reveal for the Ahsoka trailer, which pretty much we're looking at, it's going to probably drop in August?
Probably like March or April. I would
Celebration,
say.
you think?
Yeah.
That's the first trailer?
I think so.
Mike, what do you think?
End of Mando 3.
When it's over?
Yeah.
So Mando...
Maybe the last episode of Mando 3, sneak peek of Ahsoka.
Well,
Maybe, because I think Sabine's showing up in Mando.
Okay,
I
so
think so,
let's
too.
think about this.
Yeah.
We saw the first Mando trailer at Celebration,
Yeah.
and it's debuting in, January.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's a long
Is
time.
it January? Yeah.
No.
February.
No, March 1st.
March. Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
it's
So almost a
March?
full year.
Almost a full year.
So we would have gotten it by now.
So, well, maybe. Well, it comes out in August. So, yeah. But I think we're going to get it before then. I think we're going to get it in January, maybe even February.
Just randomly?
I think so.
Okay.
They're going to do that. I think January, February, they might drop it and promote it. But I would not be surprised, because Lucasfilm has not done this a lot. They like to focus on the show that's coming
do.
up. So my prediction is probably wrong, and I wouldn't be. I think Steph's probably the closest to being right, but I just for some reason feel like they're going to drop it because the only reason is because the Mandalorian thing, as you brought up for Celebration, we had never seen anything. Nobody had seen anything. It was
seen anything yet.
We've seen an Ahsoka thing. They showed a little teaser of it at Celebration as well, so they have something. So Mandalorian has also dropped publicly dropped the trailer finally.
Yeah.
And Andor was still going on at that time too.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to show it to build up the hype on it, and I also think because to get Sabine in it probably
Right.
I think around February most likely is what I would guess, but I don't think Steph's wrong. Where if you showed it in April, and then it comes out in August, that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
You probably get a little. If they don't cover Acolyte at all on Celebration,
There's no way.
I'm going to put my head through a
There's
wall.
no way.
They
Of
have
course
to.
they are.
They have to.
Yes.
But Acolyte's coming out after Ahsoka, right?
Yes.
Way after.
It's
Skeleton
not
Crew
even
comes
just
out
started
first.
Filming.
Yeah, because they focused on Andor at Celebration,
And they're
but they
shooting
gave
it,
us Ahsoka.
but they're also shooting it now, Acolyte. So you would hope.
I think by Celebration they will have what
Yeah.
they did for Ahsoka.
Like a little teaser.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
So anyway, I think that this is I think Lars Mikkelsen, I would say, is guaranteed to be announced. Now, I know that there was that rumor that they announced Ezra, but that was never confirmed,
No,
right?
it's
So that
not.
actor, and it wasn't the guy from Aladdin.
No,
the
I
rumor
know.
was that Mina Mossad at one point, and then there was a rumor that it was this other guy. So
I know.
who
I
actually
thought that
got
was
cast?
announced.
It wasn't. It was a rumor. It was.
Are
it
you
was-
come
yeah.
on?
It wasn't. I'm
announced.
telling you, nobody. The only ones that have been announced were Sabine.
But that Ahsoka.
They haven't even announced Hera. No, yeah. Sabine's the only one they brought on stage with.
Well, I know that, but I thought because
There
it
was
was
a
like
report. There was a report during.
everyone was like, "Oh,
Everyone
Mina
thought it was
Mossad
it.
didn't get it."
It was
Ah.
D23. It was like the day before they announced something that was the day, and then they're like, "Oh, they're going to announce this guy on the stage." 'Cause
Right. Remember that?
I don't
Remember that?
know how good this guy, if they got this guy or not. I don't know him, so I can't judge whether or not he's good or bad. But Mina Mossad would have been perfect for Ezra.
Yeah.
Perfect. But
Now, are you basing that off of his work in Aladdin?
Yes.
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
because Ezra is essentially Aladdin. When we
Right,
first
I
meet
get
him.
that.
and so maybe that's what they were trying to avoid. I don't know.
Maybe.
they were trying to avoid that. But
Yeah.
was it announced?
Because I remember his face, and I was like,
I
Good
don't
stuff.
think it's fully announced, but it was Amon Esfandi.
Yeah.
And it's saying that he's joining, and he does look like Ezra, honestly.
Okay.
But it's not. I don't see any. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's from Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, but that's not official.
But it's not official. It's not an
not-
official announcement.
right.
But everyone's saying it's
Right.
this guy. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know, but there's been no news of the announcement of Lars, but it's certainly rumored that that's who it is. Timothy David Leonard. Will we see any more mainline Star Wars films? I mean, I assume so. Is that what we were
Yeah.
just talking about, right?
Yeah,
mainline
yeah.
Star Wars.
yeah, mainline Star Wars films.
Yeah. Paul Najera. Would Jenny Ortega make a great Sith? I think so. So I haven't watched Wednesday, but I'll tell you. I know. My daughter won't shut up about it.
It's the best.
She loves it.
Yes.
She loves it.
Yes.
Now, Jenny Ortega is someone who is an up-and-comer now, and everybody's talking about
Yes.
her. I don't know if Sith, I don't know. I mean,
Yes, I think I want to get Jenna Ortega fatigue. Like I want
Yeah.
her casting everything.
Everything.
I want to be annoyed
you
that
love
she's
her.
on. I love
Everyone
her
loves
so
her.
much.
She's like a megastar now.
Yes, she's
Yeah.
because she did what I heard about what she does is that Catherine Zeta-Jones said that they were like, okay, this is how we want you to do it, and she's like, okay, I will do that, but I would love to do this in my take, and she said that almost every take that they use in the show
Is
was
hers.
her idea. She is so good at being like bad.
So what is that? I'm trying to think. There was a movie, and I think that it's her. I'm pretty.
Scream.
No. She was great in Scream.
yeah.
She was great in that. But no, and I didn't love that movie. I didn't like that movie. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was a movie with Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne, and it came out recently.
Oh no.
And I think that she was one of the kids, and it was the first time I saw her because I remember going, I don't know who that girl was, but she was awesome. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the search on. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's her. Okay, so let's move on there. So Jenny Ortega, I think at this point, especially from Steph, everything would be great. Let's see. We've got Paul Reaper. Where does Patty Jenkins' comments leave Rogue Squadron? Is there a chance that it can be revived? Is there a chance it can be revived?
Absolutely.
Sure. If it fits into this new plan, yes. And maybe even after certain comments, and if audiences want it, maybe they'll say, hey, let's take a meeting and see if we can fit this thing out. I'm just with Steph. I think if you're Lucasfilm at this point, we're like, we've got a new plan. Let's just stick to the plan. Do you think that it could be revived?
I want to say yes.
You want it to,
I
but
feel
do you
it's
think?
dead in the
Yeah,
water.
me too.
I think honestly, it kind of feels like we're going in with what they're doing with DC. We're like these old projects that were like The Rock's Black Adam 2. That's dead.
Yeah.
Not because of how much it made, the new leadership and everything. That those plans were
Both.
done.
I think it's
2 months later.
I think it's a mixture.
Gunn
of
and
both.
Safran came in.
Yeah.
It's like a studio when a new studio takes over. Any project that was there before, dead in the water because they don't want to be associated with the old school.
It's like any business. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
we
a
had
business.
a plan before.
Yeah.
It's like a government too. Same thing. We had all these. If you vote in a new line of government, they're gonna
do their own thing.
They're gonna go to
again,
the agenda that they want to hit.
It's still Kennedy, but it's Kennedy and Chapek versus Kennedy and Iger now. It's a different thing.
It is right. So okay. So this is now John Giacola. It would be cool to see a deep fake Harrison Ford dropping off Kylo at the Jedi Academy, maybe a parents' weekend scene with Han and Leia. Yeah, I mean, look, as the technology gets better with both deep fake and de-aging, I think, and especially if you see what happened with like Luke, I think you're going to see more of those types of scenes. My goal, though, is that when it comes to the voices, they get people that can do the voices more so than doing that computer generated thing.
Yeah.
Worked great for Vader, sounded very robotic for Luke.
Yeah.
Because Vader was
Vader's mechanic. He's a mechanic. Yeah, as opposed to like Luke, who's like, yes, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's not Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is about as joyous as it gets.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Next one. And now, Jesse Young. After The Acolyte, I think that they need to do a Rule of 2 series for 3 or 4 seasons that builds to a great dark finale, which ties into The Acolyte and Luthen's shop items. Who would you want to be Darth Bane, a new actor or seasoned veteran actor? Look, from your lips to God's ears as far as that goes. I just think that they're going to see about how they're going to be able to balance out The Acolyte. I think that Disney, for sure, is too scared to have a Darth Bane series because you have to lead on a villain. It's got to be like a Breaking Bad type series or a Sopranos type series where the villain has to be the number one bad guy. There's going to be bad guys in Acolyte, and they're going to be running the show, but like it's got to be an evil show. The Rule of 2, it's got to be an evil show, and I just don't think Disney's going to do that. But as far as casting goes, I don't know. It's just I always thought that Kevin Durant from Smoking Aces and other things he's a little older now, but I think that type of build I always thought would be great for Bane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like newer actors coming into, especially properties like Star Wars. House of the Dragon did that. I love that. And now they're all stars. It's cool to watch that happen.
That's right. Especially on television, you have more of an opportunity to do that because as long as the Star Wars name kind of carries it over, you'll be
and the
all
show's
right.
good.
Yeah. And the show's good. Right. All right. We'll do Mike's got to get out of here, so we'll do 3 more. Tyler Christian Pfeiffer or Fear. Cad Bane. Actually dead? I hope not.
Nah.
Went out like a lame ass. And I they that was one of my like he looked cool. I loved the way he looked.
I loved it.
Great that they used his original voice.
Yeah.
Looked like he's gonna have this whole backstory where they're gonna show us what happened with him and Boba Fett, and then again the thing just like went out like a balloon. So I'd love to see him come back. I hope that they do. I would love to see a series just of bounty hunters. Just of bounty hunters. That's what we thought it was going to be. Bounty hunters are gangsters. Just like an actual bounty hunter series, right?
They're not going to do it because that's too many
It's
kills.
too many now. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't. None of us think he's dead, right?
No.
I think it would be an absolute
Even if
waste.
they thought he was going to be dead after hearing what people's like,
Bring him back.
Yeah, they're
And
bringing
I think
him back.
I think when he's dying though too, like one of his lights are on, showing like he's still good. Same thing. Ian KV Harvey, do you think the next season of the Book of Boba Fett bring him back to be a badass? I think it's a colossal mistake if they bring that show back.
I think the Book of Boba Fett has closed its chapters. I think
rumors are that no, rumors were they were going to announce
Did you recently see?
Hey,
I gotta say this because it can't. Morrison even said he's like, we need to bring Boba Fett back to the
be a
badass.
badass, yeah.
And I was just like, thank you, and everyone that was
Dude, he's
cheering
been
the Book
saying
of
it.
Boba Fett that was the God's gifts, and you're still like Star Wars. Like, no, the lead actor was saying, we got to get him back to being a
he
badass
was saying
man.
in the beginning, he was saying I'm talking too much. He said it too
Thank
much.
you.
How many times you introduce yourself?
We weren't
I'm
hating
Boba
on
Fett.
Star
Yeah, we get
Wars.
it. No, but like,
But man, even the guy that plays him, like, let's just be a badass.
well, they
again.
said they were going to announce that show at Celebration. They didn't. They said they were going to announce at D23. They didn't. I'm hoping they went, look, maybe this wasn't the thing.
Yeah.
Let's back off. Let's focus on something else. It's the show. It's and every time you put it on a
Because
list,
where do you
it's
go?
always on the lowest
He's
list.
the landlord of Tatooine. Where do you go? Does he suddenly get does Fennec die and then he becomes a vigilante killing the people that killed her? Maybe.
No, if the only way you really do it, if you really want to do it, if you really do it, then commit to what you said last time and actually make him a gangster. Actually make him a gangster.
You can keep
and
the original season, but just like
make him a gangster.
Yeah,
Like, he's had
shuffle
to,
the board a little.
because like it just made no sense.
Kill Fennec, man.
Because here's the argument. This is the argument I want to see how people make this, and please make it in the comments because I don't understand it. I was like, okay, so in Mandalorian season 2. Boba Fett is about as badass as it comes. He shows up in that scene and he tells Din what's going on. He tells him he needs the suit back. He's badass, but he helps out in the mission. You're like, that's Boba Fett. And then when we end season 2, he walks in and he shoots Bib Fortuna, knocks his carcass off, and sits on the throne. You're like, oh, give me that show. Then in the next season, in the first season of Boba Fett, he's reformed. He's this, and people are like, well, that's because he was with the Sand People. Oh, no. Sand People happened first, and then the stuff in Mandalorian happened. Yeah. So what happened in between them?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he was redeemed. Well, he was redeemed, and then he wasn't redeemed, then he got redeemed again. Well, when did that happen?
Yeah.
You're right.
So that's why it made no sense, and they pitched it because what happened, I guarantee you, especially after hearing all the Willow notes that happened with from Disney, you probably got something like, well, he's a little bit too edgy and too much of a bad guy, and Din's kind of the same way. Can you change him up a bit? And that's what happened.
We got 2 guys in helmets running around with backpacks. We got to change their personalities up.
So I scrap that show. Scrap it.
Yeah.
Have him pop up and other stuff.
Exactly.
Like what he
I'd
did
love
in
to see.
Mando.
I love Tamora.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Bring
let
him back.
Boba Fett pop up. But Tamora's gonna be showing up all over the place as the clone soldier.
There you
He's
go.
gonna be Rex. He's gonna be everywhere. So let's see.
Oh, what a good job he
Rex
has.
this.
Yep, it's true. And the last question, Kevin Gudgeon. When do you see Vader next appearing in live action? Now that's a great question.
I was like this. I did this. I was like,
Now I don't think he needs
When?
to. You can't. No Andor because it takes away from the season finale, which is Rogue One.
okay, because we talked about that. I was like, I don't think Vader's showing up in Andor, and I don't think
He
we see
doesn't need
Tarkin
to.
ever either.
Ahsoka.
Tarkin's impossible. I do think he shows up in Ahsoka, but I think he's Hayden. I don't think he's Vader. And if he is,
I
it's
think
a
we get
flashback.
Hayden.
I think we.
But
get
then
Hayden.
again, we thought we're getting flashbacks of Luke and Obi-Wan and Anakin. We
There's
did. We got that
no-
one fight
yeah.
of the 2 of them, which we never got like the cool flashbacks.
we're getting Hayden in Ahsoka, but I
Yeah,
think
it's
we're,
just
but,
too emotional.
But
not to hit on it.
and I think we get him as a Force ghost, and I think he's talking to us. I think we're going to see that redemption angle between the 2 of them, where they're
that
going
would
to
be
yeah. I think we're going to see them together, which
so
would be great.
good.
And because Hayden Christensen and Rosario Dawson are friends, they're
homies,
really
yeah.
good friends. So I think that's going to happen. So if that counts, that's probably. I mean, that is Vader, but it's Anakin. So, but actual Vader. I mean, possible. No, he's dead by skeleton crew. There's nothing. Really, I mean, they're talking about Obi-Wan season 2. Now, Obi-Wan. I sing a different song when it comes to if they're going to do Obi-Wan season 2. I would like to see it, but I'll tell you. And this is no shot against her because I still think she's a great director. It can't be Deborah Chow. They've got to bring in somebody else to show run it. They got to bring in different writers, because if they bring in different writers and they bring in different people to do the show, and it has a different tone with Obi-Wan on Tatooine protecting Luke, and that's the story that we thought, no more Vader. We don't need Vader anymore in it. So to answer your question, probably not in this series, but I do think that they could do Obi-Wan season 2 with a new showrunner. Like, think about a movie there's certain movies that have been out there that, like, look at Harry Potter, the first movie.
Yeah.
Directed by Christopher Columbus, and so was the second one.
Yeah.
I like those movies, but a lot of people are like, oh, it's too kiddie. By the time Quran takes over in the third one, you're like, whoa, I love Harry Potter now.
Yeah.
Same thing can happen with Obi-Wan.
Sure.
So, I don't know. What do you, but Vader question, Steph, you think Vader himself, nothing in the forefront thus far, huh?
No,
Yeah.
not really, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, because I just think like it should be used for moments like the Rogue One time, you know.
Andor's the only one that makes sense
be,
right now,
yeah,
but
but
I
I
hope not, because I think it takes away from Rogue One.
I think I just see them making it more about like the politics and
Yeah.
less about him.
I think you're right, though. I think Krennic is a given in season 2.
For sure.
I do think Tarkin will show
Me
up.
too.
I think Tarkin's going to show
Okay.
up. But I think it's going to be I think they get Steven Stanton to do the voice, I hope. And they're going to deep fake Tarkin this time around. It's going to look significantly better.
And also, like, if you can't, just keep that shot where it's his reflection in the Death Star window.
Right.
Yeah, that looked great. And then he got to his face, and I was like, what?
They're going to deep. I mean, look what they did with
Dude.
Luke, though. They'll deep fake him. They'll do it. All right. So
Talk to James Cameron.
That's it, everybody. Listen, thank you for joining us today. We had a really fun show for you. Thank you once again to Athletic Greens. Thank you to Manscaped. Thank you to Mike and Steph for being here. Make sure you comment. If you haven't done that already, please do that. Join the podcast, Apple's Podcast, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Helps the show out tremendously. Patreon.com/The Big Thing Show. Please join today if you haven't. It supports the channel. It supports the show. We have a lot of great benefits over there for you. Please go and browse around, and hopefully you join today. And if you haven't already done it, get yourself a Sith Council shirt. That right there, that is the lead. Sith Council is number 1. That is the leader right now. Show Some Class is in number 2, but Sith Council is leading the charge with most shirts purchased at the moment. So go get yourself a Sith Council shirt. All right. So for myself, Mike Kalinowski, and Steph Sabraw, thank you guys for joining us. Peace out.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.